It's called SAP Sourcing and Procurement. We are going to have a demo on SAP Materials Management. As far as my introduction, I am into SAP field from past 12 and more than 12 years of experience I have into SAP as well as EWM. And I worked for ECC for 10 years and more than two and a half years into SAP S4HANA. Okay, and in my this 12 years of experience into SAP, I have done 7 end-to-end implementation projects, out of which 6 was SAP ECC version and 1 was SAP S4HANA conversion project, that is migrating from SAP ECC 6.0 to SAP S4HANA 1809 edition. Okay, and apart from that, I have done multiple 11 rollout projects, 2 upgradation projects, and GST migration projects as well. Okay, now coming to who is this course for? We have seen this course is actually for anybody who is interested to learn SAP whether he may be a fresher, like he just a college pass out, okay, and he want to get into SAP field because there are huge scope is available, there are multiple, plenty of job opportunities available. So even a fresher can learn SAP because we are going to start from the scratch, and each and everything, all the topics we are going to cover in the training. Okay, and coming to next, there are people who are experienced. Okay, not necessarily they have to have an experience of SAP, they have some domain expertise. Okay, they are into business, they have several years of domain experience, and then now they want to leverage that experience into SAP field for a better opportunity and career growth. Okay, so due to huge scope available, they want to get into SAP field, so they can also learn SAP There are other consultants, SAP consultants who are already working to some other module like EWM or SD or PP, QM, PS. So okay, so, and they want to learn an extra module, okay, for an edge in the market. Like they want to grow, they want to get promoted. Like currently they are into consultant, they want to get into solution architecture level. Okay, at that level, candidates are required to, consultants are required to have multiple module experience. Okay, so they also can learn SAP Then we have something called SAP ECC. So this is SAP S4HANA. People who are working into ECC version, they want to upskill or upgrade to SAP S4HANA or sourcing and procurement. For them also this is relevant. Okay, and lastly, end users who are actually sitting and doing the transactions via the using the business process knowledge, and they want to get into SAP as a consultant level, they can also get into. So anybody who is basically passionate and want to get into SAP market, they can learn this course. Okay, now why I'm saying, because it's easy to learn. Okay, it's not difficult. It's a fundamental module of SAP. Okay, so we have core modules like SD, FICO. These fundamental core modules are implemented by all the companies, whether it's a small company, medium-sized company, or big company. Okay, and they need consultants resources to work on them. Okay, so due to that, we have a lot of scope and opportunities. So coming to the evolution of SAP, how SAP evolved. SAP was started in the year 1971, okay, by 5 IBM engineers, and that was called R1 version. That was the real-time first generation. In the 1979, they came up with R2 version, which was working on the mainframe technology, because that time we had the mainframe technology, and all the big businesses who were using this technology, they started using the R2 version. Then later on in the year 1992, a next technology shift occurred. So mainframe technology was replaced by the PC, personal computers, and small businesses also started using the systems of personal computers. So SAP came up, upgraded that R2 version, and they came up with the R3 version, which is a real-time third generation system, which was working on the 3-tier architecture. Okay, so we had the application layer, client level, that is a user interface layer, application layer, and the database layer. Okay, so this 3-tier architecture was supported, and it was very popular, and all the medium-sized and small companies started implementing R3 version. After that, there was a next technology shift which occurred in the year 2004, and your internet was established as the common business place for the businesses. Okay, so business wanted that the application, the SAP system should work on their internet also. So SAP acquired a NetWeaver application, and using that NetWeaver, they were able to work few of the processes and transactions on the internet. And that enhanced version was called SAP ERP, or you can say ECC. That is a ERP central component, and it was launched in the year 2004. So if you see, since the beginning of enterprise computing, SAP has been building the applications. Whenever any major technology shifts have occurred from mainframe to PC to internet. Okay, but what happened in the year 2015? There was a new way of advances in the hardware architecture. Okay, and it was bringing massive computing power at the decreasing cost. We had the huge memory, so memory or RAM was huge RAM was available at a decreasing cost. We had the multi-core processors. So what is multi-core processor? It's like we have dual core, quad core processors. Okay, so they support parallelism of tasks. You can parallelly process your tasks, and because of which what happens, your processing becomes much faster, your performance is increased. Okay, and this is all offering you massive computing power, but the existing ECC version was not able to exploit the full power of the hardware architecture which was available. Okay, so in the SAP, what they did, they came up with a new application. They tied up with the major hardware companies. Okay, understood their architecture and rewrote the entire application of ECC to so that it should be able to fully exploit the power of the existing computing power, and that was called SAP S4 HANA, which was launched in the year 2015. Okay, so SAP S4 HANA was launched in the year 2015. Before that, SAP HANA came into picture. Okay, before 2015, 2011 was the time when SAP HANA was launched. So what is HANA? Actually, HANA is a database. Okay, at that time, S4 HANA was not into picture. HANA was launched by SAP in the year 2011. And now, why SAP launched? ECC version was very popular, and it was the market leader in the ERP segment. Okay, it was capturing more than 30% of market share of the ERP, and it was very popular. But SAP did a survey, and they found out that that whatever issues they are encountering, support issues, which is handled by the SAP global support team, out of that 70% issues are related to the database. Okay, only 30% issues are related to the core business functionality of processes, and this 70% was because of the other databases which were SAP had no control. Like we had the Oracle database which SAP used to work on, Microsoft SQL Server, Sybase DB2. So any other data, because ECC version was a database independent, it can work on any database, and SAP couldn't do anything because it was not there. Okay, in the data. So SAP started creating their own database. Okay, and that was called SAP HANA. It's a database which is an in-memory database. Okay, what is in memory? The data resides in the RAM, in memory, inside the RAM. Okay, and why it is residing in the RAM? Because when you process the data in the RAM, it becomes 100,000 times faster than fetching the data from your hard disk drive. If you're keeping in the hard disk drive, processing is comparatively less. Okay, so because of which HANA can process your application into much faster way. And SAP has done some testing, and they found out that if you are, I'll show you here. Suppose you have a table called customer table, okay, which is having 2 trillion records. How many? 2 trillion records they have. And it comprises, the table comprises of customer code, customer details like address, and what product he has bought for, okay, and what is the price of that product. All these details are there. Now if the business wants to fetch the top 5 customers from this table, which is having a 2 trillion records, okay, so what will happen? Your normal ECC version or any R3 version on any other application, non-SAP systems also you can consider, it will take 6 hours to fetch the top 5 customers. Okay, so you want to fetch the top 5 customers, so it will take 6 hours for SAP previous versions. Whereas when it comes to HANA database or SAP S4 HANA, it will take just 6 seconds. Okay, so this kind of productivity and efficiency you can gain once you implement HANA database. Now how SAP is able to achieve this, we are going to learn into the training. Okay, and because of this productivity and efficiency of SAP HANA, business started to migrating from the other databases to HANA database. Okay, so what is SAP Business Suite powered by HANA is nothing but your ECC version, which works on the HANA database. Okay, so what SAP Business did, they shifted from the Oracle or the Microsoft SQL Server to the HANA database because it was a real-time data. And other thing which HANA supports is OLAP and OLTP together. What is OLAP? It's online analytical processing, and OLTP is online transaction processing. Okay, so if you see in the previous to SAP HANA, there were two kinds of boxes or servers. Okay, one server used to support OLTP, that is a transaction, wherein we used to install all the modules of SAP, all the ECC modules of SAP was installed on the OLTP server. And there was another server which was called which was a OLAP server, which was used for your online analytical processing. And the models which used to work for OLAP were BI, business intelligence, business warehouse, okay, business objects, bots. So these were basically reporting and analytical tools which were used for strategic reporting purposes. So in ECC version, what is to happen? The data is to migrate. So whole day the business used to do transaction in the ECC server, and end of the day data is to migrate to the BI server, that is OLAP server, and whole night the processing is to happen, extraction, transformation, and loading, that is called ETL. And after processing, next day only the data was available for the business for the strategic reporting purposes. So it was not real time. Now coming to SAP HANA, it supports both OLAP and OLTP together. Okay, so because of what happens, there is no need to have a separate server for that. Okay, you can use your all the modules on the same server, as well as your BI BW will also work on the same server, because of which it's a real data is a real time. Okay, they don't have to wait next day. Real time data is available for your normal reporting as well as strategic reporting, and because of which business started migrating to the HANA database. Okay, so 2011 HANA came into picture. Your business warehouse module was shifted to HANA, and then your ECC version also migrated to HANA database. Now in the year 2015, they also started migrating the app, all the modules. So they started with the finance module, which was called Simple Finance at that time in the year 2015, and slowly by 2016 they migrated the logistics modules as well, which was called Simple Logistics. So this was terminology which was used in the year 2015 internally, and after that the SAP changed the terminology from Simple Logistics. Now it is again module specific, the way it was in the ECC model. So now we have SAP S4HANA Enterprise Management module, is SAP S4HANA Enterprise Management SD module, and so on. Okay, so what is SAP S4HANA? It's a real-time ERP suite for digital businesses, which works on the HANA database, and the HANA database, I told you, it's an in-memory database, which because of which it brings significant improvements over your previous versions of SAP. Apart from that, SAP has also came up with a new interface which is called Fiori interface. It is called Fiori User Experience. UX is user experience. So SAP's S4HANA supports both your graphical user interface as well as Fiori interface. So we will see what is Fiori in the today's demo in the end of the slides. Then they have come up with the updated data model. The data model has been simplified. So previously, if you see this evolution, they have just upgraded, kept on upgrading, and the database was same. Okay, the tables where they were just keep on adding the tables, and there was never like the database structure was so becoming so complicated that in ECC version, if you want to do any development activities or you want to create some reports or a transaction you want to enhance, it was very complicated in the ECC version. Okay, so in SAP S4HANA, they have simplified data model. Apart from that, we have SAP S4HANA has inbuilt futuristic technologies like embedded analytics, machine learning capabilities, and artificial intelligence as well in the SAP S4HANA. So SAP S4HANA is a package which covers all the day-to-day business processes of an enterprise. Okay, so it will have core modules like order to cash, which is your SD module, procure to pay is your module, plan to product is your PP module, then request to service, and so on. Okay, so FICO, HR module. So these are the core modules of SAP, and SAP S4HANA also integrates few portions of other industry solutions. Okay, so SAP has a lot of industry solutions apart from your core models like IS Oil, which caters to the oil industry, IS Retail, which caters to the retail industry, and there are a lot of other. So SAP S4HANA is a package which includes your core modules and plus few important portions from industry solutions, few important and common use portions from the other lines of business products like SRM, CRM, and SCM, and this is powered by the HANA database. Okay, this we have seen. And so this is your core modules of SAP. They have streamlined, they are saying they have streamlined your procure to pay process, they have streamlined your MM module, they have accelerated the PP module, they have optimized the SD module. Okay, they have enhanced the service module, the core finance is there, and the core human resources are there. This is the digital core of SAP S4HANA. Coming to our module, what is SAP MM? Okay, so we have seen SAP S4HANA is there, overview. Now coming to SAP S4HANA MM module, okay, it comprises of various components. We have the master data component, which includes your vendor master, material master, okay, and purchasing info record and source record. Now coming to S4HANA, they have come up with a new master data, that is a business partners, that we'll see in next slides. Then we have purchasing component, which includes entire your P2P cycle, which is like PR, PO, GRN, invoice verification. All this is part of a purchasing component. Then we have inventory management component, wherein we do the goods receipt, goods issue, okay, transfer postings, physical inventory. All this is done in the inventory management component. And then we have the planning component, which is your MRP, okay, wherein we can set the reorder point and consumption bill planning. All these planning activities done in MRP component. So if you see, SAP has two main areas. One is a logistics area and the other is a financial area. And then we have HCM, HR and human resources. So MM is the backbone of your logistics area. Okay. And apart from MM, we have other modules in logistics like SD, warehouse management, PP, QM, PS. So these are the logistics modules, and MM is one of the backbone. It's the backbone of the logistics module, which manages the procurement activity of an organization, right from purchasing, inventory management, planning, and control, etc. Okay, and it ensures that there is a never shortage of material at any point of time. So the right material should be available at the right time. So because of which you should not lose the businesses. Okay, so if you have a customer order, you should business should make sure that inventory is available at the right time to supply the to fulfill that customer order. Okay, if it's a manufacturing organization, the material should be available, raw material should be available for the manufacturing unit to convert into finished goods. Okay, so that inventory maintenance part is handled in the MM module. Okay, and it speeds up the procurement and management activities, making the business run smoother, okay, with time and efficiency. It deals with both products and services. It is not like you have to do for material procurement. We can do the service procurement as well. Okay, with the aim of accelerating productivity, reducing the cost, and increasing the improvement at the same time. It is a versatile to accommodate changes in the daily business operation. So not only your strategic procurement activities, it also supports your daily end-to-end daily business operations smoothly into SAP MM. Now SAP comprises of your master data, which I told you component. I will just log in into the server. Once you enroll into the training, you will be given a server access, which is your 24/7 server access. There are two ways of login. One is a remote desktop, or we can install the GUI client and the Fiori Launchpad on your local PC as well. So this is this login credentials will be provided to you. Just log in into this server using the IP address and the ID password which is provided to you. So this is our desktop of the server. Here we have SAP Logon Pad, which is a graphical user interface, and then we have something called SAP Fiori Launchpad, which is your Fiori user experience, user interface. Suppose I open SAP Logon Pad. Here we have to give you with this SAP user ID password, which will be provided to you. Okay, so we have this on the right hand side, we have the SAP logo. Left hand side, it has all the modules of SAP. In logistics area, we have MM, SD, FI, other modules. If you expand MM, we have purchasing component, inventory management, logistics, invoice verification component. In purchasing, we have purchase order transactions, purchase requisitions, and so on. Okay, so if I show you one of them, this is my purchase order screen. Here we order the components which we require. Okay, or services which we require from the vendor. So this is one. I was talking about material masters. In Material master remains the same, the way it was in the ECC version. Okay, there is not much change. The only change they have done is they have increased the field length. So previously it was 18 characters field length. Now in SAP S/4HANA, they have come up with the 40 characters. They have expanded to 40 characters. So material code will be 40 characters, and your material description will also be 40 characters. So suppose I open one of the material, and it is S/4HANA. They have segregated into three segments or parts. So first segment is your basic data, which is your general data, which includes your material code and other details, material description and unit of measurement. Then we have model specific data, which is be from point of view, it will be a purchasing related details, and then we have financial details, which are accounting 1 and accounting 2. So there are three segments in any master data. We have general details, model specific details, and financial details. Okay, so in SAP S/4HANA they have increased the field length of your this. If you see this material and the material description, okay, so if you see, the length is right now 40 characters for the material number, right? And there is a material description also. Next is your business partners. So what is business partner? Now business partner is actually a combination of customers and vendors. Okay, so SAP has come with a new approach of your customer and vendor, and they have integrated both of them into one called business partners. Why it is required? Only because in some cases it was found that a customer, it can act as a vendor as well. So he was the customer of your business, but he was at the same time he was supplying some material to you. Okay, in that case he was acting as customer as well as vendor. But in your previous version, your ECC and R3 version, he was getting two codes, one as customer code, another was a vendor code. Now SAP has clubbed both of them and put it into one umbrella bracket, that's called business partner, and there will be one ID for that person. One business partner ID will be given, and based on the role which he is performing, whether when he's performing customer role, he will be getting customer code, and when he's performing the vendor role, he will be getting a vendor code. Okay, and if you see, the BP is the transaction code to create, edit, or display the master data. Previously we used to have the SK01 for creation, SK02 for change of the vendor master, and SK03 for display of the vendor master. Now it is only one T code called BP. Okay, and all these previous T codes have become now obsolete. So if we So if you see in the status bar, it is telling me redirecting to transaction BP, as the transaction SK01 has become obsolete. So all these previous master data, SK01, SK02, SK03, as XD01 or MK01, all these have become obsolete, and it will automatically redirect to your BP transaction code. Okay, the same screen. This is your BP transaction code. So you can go via this also, or directly we can open the BPT code. In the command field, we enter the BP business partners. Here we have three options. You can create a business partner as a person, individual, or an organization, which is a company, or a group. Group is a combination of this, basically group of people or group of organizations. And business partner, if you see, they have various roles. Okay, so I was telling you about the customer. If he's performing customer role, he will get a customer business partner role. If he's performing vendor, acting as a vendor, he will get a vendor role, and so on. Okay, so apart from that, so this is the one thing. In the training, we'll also teach you the business partner customer vendor integration, how to configure the business partner using the CVI integration, and how to get the business partner code and the vendor code. So if you see, in some cases we have seen this is the vendor code and this is your business partner code. SAP says the business partner code and the vendor code should be same, it should not be different. For that we need to do the settings in CVI, some configuration in CVI integration. Okay, if you don't do that configuration, then it will be different. A business partner code will be different and the vendor code will be different. So when we create a purchase order, we will create a purchase order using the vendor code, not the business partner code. It will give an error. If you put this code in the purchase order, it will not allow you to create a purchase order. You have to create the using the vendor code only. So it is recommended that both of the things should be same. And next is your procure to pay cycle. This is my typical standard procure to pay cycle, purchase to pay scenario, okay, which we do it in a business standard procurement process. It starts with the determination of requirements. So your requirement can be coming from multiple sources. So a particular department has a request for a particular material or service, he will raise a purchase requisition. Otherwise, the customer has placed an order to you and the inventory is not available for you to supply, then you procure a material or service and supply it to the vendor. So when you procure, we create a purchase requisition. If it's a manufacturing organization, okay, then any raw material requirement, spare part requirement is there in the manufacturing unit. They will also raise a purchase requisition via bill of material, that is BOM, that will be exploded and PR will be created. So PR will be coming from any sources, and once the PR is received in the MM module or created in MM module, next step is determination of your source of supply. So what we do here, we create a quotation. So we got a requirement that okay, this material or service we want, then we'll raise a quotation to various vendors and fetching the data how many vendors can supply you this material or service. And once you have got the quotation, we'll do the vendor selection based on vendor evaluation criteria. There in SAP S/4HANA, we have various lot of criteria, like what is his performance, what is the quality of the product, how much quantity he can supply, what is the delivery performance, okay, and what is his past history, okay. All these parameters we can use to choose wherein SAP S/4HANA vendor evaluation will give him a score and ranking, and based on the score and ranking we can choose the best vendor and then raise a purchase order on that vendor. So once we raise the purchase order, we can add lot of freight conditions, landed cost and discount conditions and taxes in the purchase order and raise and release it to the vendor. Once you have released the purchase order, next step is monitoring. We do the follow-up activities with the vendor for the supply of material. Vendor will supply you the material in the delivery location which is mentioned in the purchase order. It can be a warehouse or a customer place or your any branch office or any other location where you want the delivery. Once you receive the delivery, you do the GRN and then we do goods issue and consumption and so on. Okay, so there are various movement types which we have. Then we will do the, after GRN, we do the invoice verification. Okay, vendor will give you the invoice copy and you will make the payment to the vendor. So this is a standard procurement cycle which is available. Apart from a standard procurement, we have also various other types of procurement like stock material, which basically you want to make maintain an inventory of a material, then we will do a stock material procurement. Then we have something called direct consumption for low value items, like you're procuring some stationery or something, then there is no need to maintain inventory, then we do the direct consumption procurement. Then we have one-time purchase order, which is wherein we don't, it's an ad hoc purchase order. We don't give any reference of quotation or purchase requisition, directly we create a purchase order. Then we have contracts, which is a long-term agreement between the supplier and the business, okay, for more than 1 year or so. So we can create a contract with the vendor which has all the terms and conditions in it. Then we have quantity contracts and value contracts, which will be there based on the requirement. Then we have something called scheduling agreement, which is similar to contract, but here we have the dates, various dates are there, milestone delivery. So we say that okay, in this date we want a delivery, on the second milestone delivery will be on this month or this date of this month, and that so on. Okay, so next, apart from that, we have something called special procurement types like consignment, subcontracting, STO, direct shipment. So all this will be covered in the training. Okay, what is consignment? Basically, if you take a example of any mall, in that we have the lifestyle store. In the lifestyle store, various brands of shirts are kept, clothes or garments are kept. Okay, so we suppose we talk about Arrow shirt is there. So Arrow company has given a space in that lifestyle store to keep his Arrow shirt, but the liability is still with the Arrow company. The lifestyle store is not the owner, or he is not liable for that product. Moment the customer goes and makes the payment, okay, he buys the product, the liability will shift from customer to the liability will shift from Arrow company to the customer, and from customer when he makes payment, the liability will shifting to the lifestyle store. He will take out his commission and make the payment to the Arrow company. So that kind of scenario is called consignment, which is how to handle the consignment story in MM. That will be thought. Then we have something called subcontracting. In subcontracting, what happens? You procure a material, but you don't have the capability to convert that product into finished goods. Okay, or you have the capability, only limited capability. You don't you need more value additions in that. Then you subcontract to the third party company who will do value additions, or altogether he will make a new product for you from the scratch. You just supply the components which are required to manufacture that product, and the subcontracting vendor will manufacture, and then this scenario is handled in the subcontracting purchase order creation. How to create that also will be taught in the training. Then we have something called STO, stock transfer order, wherein we transfer the material from within the company from one plant to another plant. One is the issuing plant, other is the receiving plant. So that kind of scenario is there. Then we have drop shipment, direct shipment. So we have what we say when we raise a purchase order with the vendor, we say the delivery location, we give the customer's address. So instead of vendor supplying the material to your warehouse, and from warehouse you send it to the customer, you tell him directly send to customer, so that you can save the transportation cost and the time in the delivery. Okay, so this is a various scenarios are there which we are going to cover in the training. I showed you the graphical user interface. Now coming to the next is a Fiori interface. Now if you see Fiori, what is Fiori? It's a collection of apps. Okay, the way you work on the smartphone, Android phone, or iOS devices, we have various apps available. Same way, Fiori also is a collection of apps. So every transaction has a corresponding app into Fiori. We have the purchase requisition app, we have the purchase order app, okay, your goods receipt app, invoice verification app, and it is not always 1:1 scenario. Okay, so it's not necessary that one transaction will have corresponding one app into Fiori. They have some cases we have found that they have merged the various transactions into one app. Okay, so and also in some cases they have decomposed. So if we talk about purchase order is a very big in the graphical user interface, very cluttered. Okay, it's very complicated, a lot of fields available. So what SAP has done, they have decomposed the purchase orders transaction into Fiori, into various role based. So every role will, suppose a buyer is there, his role is only to do the buying activities. So whatever relevant fields are required for him for buying purchase to do the buying activities, that only fields are visible to him. If he's a approval, okay, he's a head of department, his role is to approve the purchase order. Okay, so he doesn't know to have so many fields the way it was in the previous transaction. So previously in ECC version, he was like I'm a purchase order transaction ME29N or ME20. All the fields were visible to him, whereas he's not required to have so many fields. Okay, so they have decomposed. HOD will have only the approval related fields. So only relevant fields are displayed to the user as based on his role and profile, due to which what happens, it becomes very easy for the person to do the transaction, and it is very intuitive to work. Anybody who has worked on the online banking transactions or e-commerce like Amazon, Flipkart, they can easily, with limited training, they can start using the Fiori apps. It's so intuitive. Okay, now this is my home page of Fiori. Here we have, if you see, notification, the way we get notification in your social media apps like WhatsApp and Facebook. Here we get a notification directly, like okay, this purchase order has been created, and actually will get a notification that is pending for his approval. Then we have something called search functionality. It's just like a Google search. You can search directly a particular product or material, and it will show you this material was, how many purchase requisitions are created, how many purchase orders are created for that material. So in Fiori, we also have something called embedded analytics. Okay, so it's suppose embedded analytics. What is embedded analytics? It is a central theme of SAP S/4HANA. Okay, and what they say ki analytics should be available at the point of opportunity or within a transactions. Okay, you don't have to go to separate transaction to get the reporting purpose for reporting purposes and then decide and do the transactions. Okay, because transaction, for any decision making in a particular transaction, data should be available real time and then and there. And this is what is available in embedded analytics. So if you say this is a purchase requisition, we are requesting for a material 4711 sorry, purchase requisition number is 4711. We have the material 515. Okay, the moment you put the material, SAP S/4HANA will provide you the list of all the suppliers who can supply you that material. Okay, the sources, and you can choose from the best supplier from his delivery performance. So we also have something called delivery this vendor evaluation right in front of you in the purchase requisition screen itself. So 101 vendor has a 98% delivery performance. So we can give the we can raise a purchase order to the supplier, this supplier 101. So in the PR itself, we assign the source of supply. There is no need to go to purchase order and they assign a vendor. We can directly do that in the purchase requisition and convert it into the PO from here itself. So this kind of embedded analytics are available in the SAP S/4HANA. Then we have something called smart business cockpits and KPI tools. So this is all tiles are available. I'll show you in the system. Okay, so this is my KPI, one of the KPI, smart business cockpit procurement overview. I just put on the top, you see we have the smart filter bar. This is my smart filter bar which is available in all the apps in the Fiori. Okay, so you just filter what you want based on the various criteria. Okay, and accordingly we'll get the transaction details. We can collapse this header details, and if you see, this is something called monitor purchase order, sorry, monitor purchasing contracts app. On this tile itself, you can call tile is nothing but app, you call it app or a tile. On the tile itself, you'll get to know the various indicators are available, color coded indicators. So if you see, this is a contract which was expired in 3 months, 3 months back, and it has been 100% consumed. Okay, converted into purchase order. Other contract is the Seat tires which was expired 1 month back, and it is consumption is 77%. So this kind of indicators are available on the top of the application itself. So there is no need to go inside and then get to know the details. Okay, so all these KPI details we can get it directly in front of the app only. So we have something called purchasing spend. We have supplier performance. So if I open the supplier performance monitoring, this is the app. This is very rich in visualization. Okay, there are a lot of these graphs available. Okay, for the data. So if you see, this is the kind of visualization which we can have, and these graphs, a lot of graphs available. Not only column chart, we have pie chart, bar chart, line chart. Okay, so which was not there in your previous version. Yes, for HANA, this kind of reporting can be done. We have pie chart, donut chart. Okay, so this kind of, we can have various graphs. We can have a tabular view. Okay, this tabular view is there. Supplier evaluation calendar, supplier details, price variance, what are various scores given to this supplier based on his performance. We can download this into the Excel, export to spreadsheet, and work as per the, because business users are comfortable with spreadsheet, Excel, they can download and work over there as well. Okay, so this kind of interface is available in the Fiori, which will be taught. We'll be starting with the Fiori overview, and then we will have entire P2P cycle, how to do it in the graphical user interface, as well as how to do the same P2P cycle in the Fiori interface. That all things will be taught to you in the trainings. Coming to the training contents, here we have we'll be covering your ECC module part and S/4HANA overview as well, because S/4HANA 60% is same, almost 60% is ECC part, 40% is additional things which have come up. So for people who are not into SAP field or who are new into SAP, for them we'll be covering both ECC as well as S/4HANA overview. Then we'll have the navigation part, how overview of SAP Fiori. We will be covering the org structures, master data component. Okay, then we have something called simplification list, which is what is the additional things which have come up in S/4HANA compared to ECC version, that is there in the ECC simplification list. So we have simplification list for the processes and the simplification list for the tables. What are the new tables which are available in SAP S/4HANA? Then we have the purchasing component, which includes the PR, contracts, purchase orders. Then we have inventory management, GR, the goods issue, and other cancellation, reservation, physical inventory. We will be doing this P2P cycle using GUI as well as Fiori user experience. We'll be doing stock material, consumption material scenario. We'll be handling special procurement scenarios like subcontracting and STO consignment. We'll be doing the external services management procurement, sourcing and contract management, import procurement. Okay, then supplier evaluation, performance analysis, material valuation. Then we have something on release strategy. Then how to do the FI and MM integration via automatic account determination. What are the MM accounting entries, invoice verification, pricing procedure, which is a creating our own conditions, discount and freight conditions. We can be done by the pricing procedure. Output determination using BRF plus. In SAP S/4HANA they come with a new output determination which is called BRF plus. Okay, it is mandatory. So how to do that we will see. Real-time analytics, how to handle in SAP S/4HANA. Then we have activate methodology. Previously we had the ASAP methodology. Now in SAP S/4HANA we have to implement using the activate methodology. So we'll have a complete details about the activate methodology as well. So what are the various phases in activate and how to implement a project using activate methodology. Then we have something called system conversion. So how to do the migrate the SAP ECC version to SAP S/4HANA using the system conversion process. Okay, so that also is a part of the training. We'll be having integration point of MM with other modules of SAP like FI, SD, EWM, PPQM. Okay, so that integration point is also there, and then we'll be having an end-to-end configuration. For configuration, I have a document which I'll be sharing with you. It's around 100 pages of document which will be referring to do the configuration. We'll start with the org structure, then we'll have a purchasing related settings, okay, configuration which are required, then inventory management, and all the configuration part will be handled, because in SAP every transaction has a particular configuration attached to it. So PR will have PR configuration, PO, GR and invoice verification, everything will have every transaction will have a configuration attached. Your master data will have a settings and configuration. So all this will be done via this configuration. Then we will be having an assignment. So after every topic or unit, I will give you assignments to practice on the server which will be provided to you. Okay, so that you can practice that assignment and get clarity on the topic which we cover. If you have any questions or doubts, you can come back to me in the next session and we can clarify. Then we have project at the end of the training, which will be covering all the above topics which we have taken up, which will help you to get the complete end-to-end scenario, and it will be real-time full life cycle end-to-end project which we'll be doing. And in the end, we have the job placement assistance, wherein we'll help you in the resume preparation. If you are new to SAP, we'll add SAP relevant points. If you are already into ECC, how to we'll add S/4HANA relevant points. Okay, and then we'll conduct mock interviews also as well for you to get placed into SAP S/4HANA or SAP market, job market. Okay, so that's it from my side. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Please unmute yourself and you can ask me any questions.